farmed with him, and he taught Brandon. Brandon farmed with him as a 10-year-old or younger, several summers. Started at 5. Yeah, that's right. And so he was a great man. He was an unbelievable man. But he was William Harold, and he was called Harold. And then my dad's dad, I don't know what Dad would say about his dad if he were here today. I know I've heard that he was a hard man. And Tommy is saying he was a good man. And that's the way I know him. He was a good man, but I'm going to say he was a hard man too. I was one of, how many grandkids do you know? I was one of several grandkids. I think I was the only one that wasn't afraid of him. I really do truly think that all the others, they had just a little bit of fear, for Pawpaw Woodard. His name was James Woodard Straight, and he was called Woodard a lot. So Mom's, her dad had a middle name that stuck with him, and Dad did too. And Dad was James Rudy, and they called him Rudy also. So they kind of got some middle names there. So when Mac came along, we had a lot of good names to choose from, or I should say they did. So anyway, I think that James is a good name for him. But Dad's dad, my Papa Woodard, I know my mama's daddy, loved me because he showed me. He showed me different ways that he loved me. I wrecked his car in a field. I got it stuck on one of those giant pipes, and it was kind of teetering like this in Louisiana. And we walked a long way home to tell him that when he got back in from the field, and he had to start another day's work. But my dad's dad would have been my dad had my dad not come back from Vietnam. He carried me around a lot, and I can remember being set up on a red vinyl stool at the hardware store in Truman, and I went with him a lot of places. I don't know if I remember that from being that young, or if I did just kind of carry on. Maybe he did after Dad got home. I probably was 2. And so I don't know where I remember that memory, which area of my life. But anyway, he was a good man. And he would have been my dad, and it would have been a wild ride. But I'm proud to say that I love both of them, and they were great dads.
Who else has a word they want to share today? Okay, great.
I have the privilege of being Wayne Hill's daughter. I'm going to keep it light because no matter what, I do everything with passion. I try to, and that's one thing my dad has taught me. If any of y'all have ever seen the movie Major Payne, hopefully you have. That's the 2 things how I can describe my dad. When I was little and when Matt was little, my dad was Major Payne. We walked the line, and you have made that, your personality there has made me who I am today. And then God blessed me with a daughter, and I saw this strong as nails, thick as skin man become the softest baby I have ever seen. And it is amazing for me to see him be so kind. Not that he wasn't kind, but man, when I was little, you said it, he said it, you did it. And now, it's not really that way with Lily. Maybe me some, but I just could not imagine anyone else being my father. You're a good, good father, and I love you.
It's so good to hear we got these good fathers in this church, isn't it? We got these godly examples. So I like that. Yes. Dennis?
Yeah, I'm going to be like Tom. Y'all didn't know my dad, but he was a World War II vet in the Army. And good man. I mean, he was about yay tall. But at one point when he was younger, he had 30-inch arms. Small build, but he was large as far as I had actually seen him take a pair of pliers and unhook head bolts off my car with a pair of pliers. I mean, that man had a grip. So when he got a hold of you, you knew it. Well, I'm one of 5 kids. I'm the youngest, and I had 4 older sisters. So, but my dad was a man that when he got saved, he was radically saved. Now, I was 12 years old, and so I knew him before, and then I knew him after. And I had a drug problem. They drugged me to church. So I tell him, when he got saved, man, I'm talking about we were in church every single time the doors was open. Didn't care. I don't care if you're sick, you're going to church because they're going to pray for you. If you're tired, you're going to go to church so they can pray for you. I mean, that's the way it was. We were raised in a Pentecostal church. So you're going to have hands laid onto you real quick. Somewhere, hey, you feeling bad? Yep, okay. You're healed now. Get up and go on. I don't care if you're dead, you're going to go to church. I mean, one way or the other. But like I said, that man taught me a lot of stuff. And I am who I am today because of him. So, when I think about it, I'm like, man, he's been gone for 45 years. So, I look and I said, one of the things that stuck in my mind, when I was 17 years old, I had to be have a parent's permission to go into the military, and I thought I'm going to go in the military. And my dad said, "Okay, what do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, you got to sign these papers." He said, "Well, what branch are you wanting to be in?" I said, "I want to be a Marine." I said, "Because they're the only ones that actually offer sniper school, and I want to shoot people." He goes, "Yeah, right." And he said, "So really, why are you wanting to go in the Marines?" And I said, "Look." I said, I'm sick and fed up with people talking to me and telling me what I got to do. He said, let me see those papers. He said, I'm going to sign it. So he did. Needless to say, I didn't go in because they said, we don't want you. It was selective service. So they said, man, you got some foot problems and we ain't taking you. So then I decided, hey, I want to get married. So I moved to Arkansas and got married. But like I say, when I think back on that, one of the funniest things was when he looked at me and said, give me those papers, boy. I'm gonna sign those because you don't want people telling you what to do. Yeah, that'll shake your. Yeah, they're gonna rattle your eye teeth real quick. But he was a good man, and like I said, loved God. And if you wanted somebody to pray for you and touch heaven, he was the man. So.
Thanks, Dennis. Good word.